Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online challenge. We're back once again with Eldrazi Ramp on the play for game one. Going to mulligan this hand. We can keep this one though. The question is what we want to keep. Because Sprawl into Temple in... No, I want to keep that Temple, please. Sprawl into Temple into Rumble is good. I think we'll drop Karn. Reveal Devourer. And I'll take the Sowing Mycospawn. So we'll go Misty Rainforest, pass. And pass. No Sprawl. Maybe we should have just dropped the Sprawl, given that we were going to reveal Devourer. That's a thought. Also, I should have... Oh, no, I didn't want to fetch. That's right. I was like, should have fetched. No, don't want to fetch. Forest. Temple. I am a bit concerned that this could be Grinding Station with that Otawara. World Breaker. Not what I wanted to see. We'll pass. Four types in Yard, though, so that's good. Street Wraith. Oh, hold the phone. This is Living End. Heh. Okay. Was not expecting that. I will Sowing Mycospawn. Debating whether or not we want to Bojuka Bog here. Yeah, I think we will Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog you and pass. Next turn we can play Talisman. We'll pitch and pitch. So it's possible that they will play Shardless Agent into Living End. Could also be... Yep, there's a Shardless into Living End. We did reduce the amount of things coming back at least. 5 types in Yard. Windswept Teeth. So let's figure this out here. We're going to take 2, 6, 11, 12. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll play Talisman. Play Utopia Sprawl. For, we'll say, blue. Actually, probably should have done red in retrospect. I'll pass and put a pause on end step. I was not expecting to see Living End anytime soon, but I guess what is dead can never die. So I'm at 18. Whoever is revving their engine needs to just knock it off. Like, you're in a residential area, bud. So yeah, we're at 18. Take 11 down to 7. Yes. Land. Shock. Tells me they likely have a subtlety. So I'm gonna hedge maze here. Trigger. Sprawl into Yard. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So here's what we're hoping for. That they have a way to cascade into Living End in hand. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes. Go ahead and subtle to me. That is fine. The only downside is they will be able to attack. But if they have nothing in yard, that's fine. So if they have stuff in yard, they need to cycle it now. Or stuff to put it in yard, they need to cycle it now, basically. So we do get to control their turn. I will get a blocker in the way of sowing Mycospawn. Breeding Pool tapped and pass. Our turn, comrade. So we have the Ardent Plea, we have a Forced Negation, Beseiju Who Endures, Sink in the Stupor, and they could have sunk the Emrakul. So let's start by drawing. Windcaller Aven. Gains flying. Interesting. So, I mean, we can just Ardent Plea and clear board. That is one option. Beseiju I'm not too hard pressed about, though we could just Beseiju our Utopia Sprawl, but we won't have enough lands. So I think we just cast Ardent Plea. I mean, we have pro... Trying to think here. Best course of action. Can play Sink in the Stupor, knock him down to 8. We would then be able to Beseiju, right? Beseiju my Utopia Sprawl. Grab a land, doesn't matter which. So... yes, I think that makes the most sense. So Sink the Stupor, play. Bolt, yes. Beseiju Who Endures, my Utopia Sprawl. We need white, blue, doesn't matter the other colors. Scry. Force Negation to top. Yes. For Stomping Grounds tapped. And then cast Ardent Plea. Cascade Trigger. Living End. Cast without paying its mana cost. Ardent Plea. And at that point, we can just pass. Alright. Just need 3 attacks, and we got there. Make our waves. Cycle. Null Drifter. Well, let's start by attacking. They have only one green source. So it makes sense for me to World Breaker here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That way we can get rid of the possibility of a Shardless agent. They'll gain 3 life, but lethal's still on board. Paying cost, cycle, and pass. Pass it back to me. Draw. Another Emrakul. Go to combat. See if you have anything. Attack with all. Paying cost. Press the enemy. So they're going to cast the Living End. Yes. Second main. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Because the Emrakul alone won't cut it. We could go Devourer, exile a flying creature, block, block, and 6. That actually might work. Block, block, and only takes 6. The alternative is we play Emrakul, but I think the Devourer is correct. 3, 4, 5. So we need to make sure we get rid of a flyer. So get rid of Curator. And then pass. We block. That's only 6 damage. And Lethal's still on board in the way of Emrakul. So unless they can interact with my board or pump theirs, this should be okay. Our only other line was to play Emrakul and hope we can sweep their board again with their own Living End. But I think this was the correct call. Because if they attack all out, it's a guaranteed loss. Even if they don't think it's going to matter. We'll be at exactly 1. Opponent's trying to figure out a way to get out of this. The only thing I can think of would be a wind color avian to give Waker of Waves flying. I'm not sure how many wind color avians they play. I wouldn't imagine many, but to be fair, I haven't seen this used in Living End until this exact moment. To be fair, I haven't seen Living End in God knows how long. Opponent passes back to me. Okay, well, let's see if they have another Press the Enemy. Go to combat. Attack of Emrakul, the Promised End. Reach. Yes. 7 damage to you. Down to 3. I will then... Do we play another Emrakul, or do we play the Null Drifter? It might just make more sense to play the Null Drifter, because then we can still block the Wind Color Avian. I'm going to cast Null Drifter. What if they have a Subtlety? If they have a Subtlety, though, that could pose an issue. So I do think it might be right to cast another Emrakul. 4, 5, 6, 7. This way, if they do have a Subtlety, we might have an out. Whereas Null Drifter, it's a guaranteed we have no out. Alright, paying cost, and here's Subtlety. Okay, we were right. Trigger. If we get another turn, I would like to put this on top. I'm not sure it matters, so maybe put it on bottom? We'll put it on top just in case it becomes relevant. Draw. Our turn again, Comrade, and looks like this might bite me in the butt. I need a green source. Look, top 2 cards library, put one of them in your hand and other in your graveyard. Draw. Another subtlety. Main. Discard Waker. Blue, blue. Lush Portico does not do it, unfortunately. Put one of them in your hand, the other into your graveyard. Yeah, Lush Portico does not do it. We're missing green. Well, that is unfortunate. Oh boy. Is there any way to play this? I mean, we can play the Lush Portico for what it's worth. Trigger. Of course, the Misty Rainforest is right there, but we have no way of getting to it. And at most, I can attack in with, let's say, the Shardless Agent, but then they're going to hit me for 7 in the air. So that looks to be a GG's. Unfortunate. You got it, opponent. All right. On to sideboard. Now the problem here is whether or not our opponent's going to switch over to Inevitable Betrayal, because that could prove to be an issue. Consign makes sense to me. Returns out. Jailer would make sense to me. And Gemstone out. Next question is whether or not we bring in a Chalice, but Karn would give us more chances at Chalice than Chalice would alone. So I think between Jailer, Consign, and Karn, we should be okay. Run it back. Ironic that me destroying their green source is what lost me the game there. Unfortunate. On the play for game 2. I will keep. And this is looking for a turn 2 Karn. Trigger 1, trigger 2. I'll grab Jailer. And Jailer. Hugin Lab. Imprint Devourer. And pass. Hold up the ability to respond. Archive, Surveil trigger. And my turn. I'll play Soulless Jailer. Oh, in retrospect, this doesn't work the way I wanted to, does it? Yeah. No, it doesn't. Whoops. Because it's not going to be on board when they return. Right? Yeah. I'm not sure that works the way I wanted to. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Whoops. I was thinking like, oh yeah, Living End returns things to board. Soulless Jailer, right? No. Because it stops to like press the enemy. Probably would have been better if we just had the Chalice or Tormod's Crypt in main. Because Arden Cascade doesn't exile, does it? Just reveals. Maybe I'm thinking of Discover. Does Discover exile? I will hold. But now I'm afraid of Inevitable Betrayal. MTG Wiki. Let's see. Cascade. How does he read? Cascade is a triggered ability. Oh no, it does say exile cards in the top of your library. Okay, no, I'm not crazy. Thank God. I thought I was the dumbest piece of bricks as existed, but thankfully we are not, because you exile the top, not just reveal, you exile. Okay. So we're going to hold the command. Beside you can deal with Jailer, though. We do have a command if needed to deal with Graveyard in the case of a living end. What about Discover? Discover also exile? It also says exile, okay. So no, Jailer does work against both Discover as well as Cascade. Good. I knew there was a reason why I put Jailer in, but then I doubted myself for a second. Wait 1 second. Living End will destroy Jailer. Opponent's thinking hard here. Either that or hardly thinking. Surveil land, or do you have Beseiju? Surveil land. Okay. That is fine. Curator. Yeah. So you need a way to deal with Jailer. Hallowed Fountain. Shock. Teferi. Well, I wasn't expecting you. I will cast command here. Scry draw. And make spawns. I'd like a green source for Bajuka Bog. I mean, alternatively, I guess I can just take Bajuka Bog. I guess you can minus on Jailer if you have a subtlety. You can then try and hold it back. I guess that'd be the thought process. Okay, so that has to be the thought process. They must have a subtlety. So we'll attempt to cast Jailer. They'll subtlety Jailer. We'll put it on top and then Bajuka Bog. Eldrazi Temple. So attempt to resolve Jailer. Let's see the subtlety. A, I messed up by playing Temple. B, they don't have Jailer. Or subtlety. I'm confused. Yeah, I just saw Temple like, oh, Temple, look at that. Piece of candy. Weird. I might get punished nonetheless, though. Do they have a way to deal with it? I mean, they're Sporadic Springs. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll return Devourer to hand. Goodbye, Teferi. And Bajuka Bog, target opponent. Okay, Thrown board. Why did you bolt the springs? Press. I see. Yes, so here comes Emrakul. So we were right about the inevitable betrayal. The press the enemies is a problem. Because now at instant speed, they can hit me for 13. And I don't have a good way... Are you going to inevitable betrayal again? Yeah, you are. Well, that's a problem. I mean, we had the Jailer, but the press the enemies gets around that really cleanly. we don't run Bridge, nor do we have enough mana for it anyways. So we just lose. Yeah, we just lose. Because I can attack with Jailer. Doesn't force them to block. Yeah. Did not matter what I did there. Short of cutting Emrakul, I guess. Maybe that was right thing to do, is to cut Emrakul. It's always so tough in this because you never know, okay, do they play Inevitable Betrayal, do they not? Kind of on this back and forth game plan, and even if they do you cut the Emrakul? Maybe? Like, we could cut them for the Consign and the Jailer, but then we still are left with these two Kozilek's returns, which are wicked awkward. They cut those for, I don't know, one of them for Tormod's Crypt in case. No, probably for Chalice. Karin can always grab Crypt. And then I guess one more for, I don't know, maybe the last Stonebrain. Yeah, bit awkward. I mean, even if we cut the Emrakul, even them grabbing the Null Drifter is pretty significant with Annihilator 1. Rough. But that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes win some, sometimes lose some, and sometimes Living End comes out of nowhere. That said, we'll be back for round 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. Let's take a look at our opening hand. Again, I keep saying it, and I keep not doing it, but I should really wait until after my opponent has chosen whether or not they go first before ending the recording. I will keep this, though. I'll pass. Do we want to go for Worldbreaker or Null Drifter? I guess it depends on what we're playing against. Hopefully we'll get an idea off the bat. I imagine we probably want to... Sewers could be Mill, could be Oculus, could be Murktide. Trying to think what else. I think we want to go with Null Drifter, Tucked. The recursion from Worldbreaker is pretty good. And I will cast a Talisman of Curiosity. Do you have a force? You do not, and we'll pass. Pass. Ideally now we want to see a land. There's a Froge. Draw. Bog. Bog could become relevant. 3, 4, 5, no. So, yeah, let's play Sanctum of Ugin, and yeah, we're just hoping to draw off the top here. Tis a Mycospawn. Could go Lab, Tuck, and then cast Talisman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. So yeah, I think we just go Temple then. And pass. We'll snap block the Psychic Frog unless they float it. All day, every day, friend. That is not even a question in my books. Pest control, so it is Esper Frog. Another one. Another one. Draw. We did get the land we wanted. So, Ugin Lab. No imprint. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. cast Worldbreaker. Do we want to fetch with the Sanctum of Ugin? And if we did, what will we fetch for? Probably for a Sowing Mycospawn. Could also go Devourer. 2, 4, 5, 6. We need a land though. Devourer might not be a bad idea. Swine Mycospawn would be good, but I wouldn't do too much. So, thinking either Mycospawn or Devourer. Let's go Devourer. Worst comes to worst, we take one turn off and then play it. Best case scenario, we draw into a land. And pass. And draw. Unfortunate Hedge Maze. Hedge Maze. One, two, three, four, five, six. I'll put this on top. Utopia Sprawl on Hedge Maze for red. You have a force. Red. Play Talisman of Impulse and pass. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 regardless. We'll exile the bigger Froge. Rude. So takes Devourer. And we'll put a pause on end step. That way we can pick up the Null Drifter. And draw some cards. Cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draw 2. Kozilek's Command, eh? Not exactly afraid of a Murktide or a Oculus. We'll just play the Forest and pass. Next turn we have the Command. Interesting. You'd have to pitch 2, and then you would have to pitch 3. Go to blocks. Go for it. If you want to pitch your entire hand, I'm okay with this. I got nothing. All of you, friend. Okay. Uh-huh. One more. Yep. And need one more unless the other one dies. Okay. Sure. That's okay by me, friend. So I will just Kozilek's Command, Scry, Exile. I should probably go Talisman of Impulse first. Command, Scry, Exile, and then we'll Bog. So I can X2 and then what? Well, I think we just go full. X equals 6. Bottom, bottom, 2 types. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can just go Breeding Pool, bottom, top, top, and top. The Jukabog, target you, and pass. No attacks. I don't foresee you making it back from this. And draw. Temple. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tis an Emrakul. You want to block? Sure. Pitch a card for it to survive if you want. Yep. Okay by me. Draw. Our turn, comrade. Attack. Activate. Pitch Ketra. Go to blocks. And pass. Lethal's now on board. And that should be the game. Yep. Okay. So this is Oculus. Win for game 1. Full draw. And combat for lethal. On to sideboard. Let's see, you want dismembers and returns. We can cut KGC and a Ghost Quarter, and I think that should be good. Let's run it back. Imagine opponent brings in consigns. Potentially break the ice. I've seen more break the ice in Oculus sideboards, which I'm not thrilled about. So I might have to be careful about break the ice. I will keep this. Reveal Devourer and pass. Sewers, Surveil Trigger. Keeps it on top. Trigger. I want a command. There's a command. Ask and you shall receive. Temple, pass, pass. And I hope they don't just turn to break the ice. Do they turn to frog? Nope. No break the ice. And a meticulous archive. Okay. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize takes command. Yep. That'd be the only choice in my opinion. Draw. Lab. Interesting. I think it makes sense for me to go one of two directions. I think we go lab and tuck the Emrakul. Let's maybe insulate from another seize effect. Let me just hold it. If they go turn 3 Harbinger, we'll be in a bit of a pickle though. Does a Froge? Froge resolves. Did you miss a land drop? You did. That's important. Dismember. Attempt to... Actually, I will play Hedge Maze. Command on top, even better. We will attempt to dismember the frog when it attacks. Most likely. I have to debate this one, because if they find a land... They would need to pitch 4 cards. Is it right just to take the 1? If they pitch 4 cards, it leaves them with 2. They would need to pitch now another 4 cards. Yeah, we're going for it. So now they would have to go down to 1 or they counter this. However, they know about our Devourer. They don't know about our command on top. You got a little bit ahead of yourself, opponent. To keep the frog or not, that is the question. I feel like I would have let them hit me for 1 and draw a card and go to second main to try and push this, but with them pitching a card and now being forced to pitch another 4 cards, I'm okay with this. Especially when I have exile-based removal as follow-up. Pitches an Oculus. So that tells me they have an Unearth. Interesting. Bajuka Bog? Bajuka Bog target you. Do you have a consigned memory? You do. Consign to memory resolves. And then we'll just hold up the K command. Alright, let's see if you have that Dismember. We should probably play around a Spell Pierce. That resolves. Oculus to exile, no legal targets. And opponent scoops it up. Solid 2-0 win against Oculus. We'll be back for round 3. Alright, and we're back for round 3 on the play for game 1. Sorry, on the draw for game 1. This hand is pretty solid. I will keep it, reveal Devourer, and pass. This plays well in the energy, and if we find a land, overall this plays well in the Grinding Station, Oculus, Flooded Strand, fetch. Fetch for Sacred Foundry. Ooh, okay, so Blink. So Devour probably better. Thoughtseize. Probably wants to take Talisman here, I would be willing to guess. That will make life a bit more difficult. Another Lab would be good, that way we can do a turn 2 Karn. So that's a thought. And this does shut off a lot of lines if they do take the Talisman of Impulse. I think that is the line, though. Takes the Karn. That's weird. Devourer trigger. I'll probably tuck the World Breaker. I'll grab the Windswept Teeth. Yes. We'll grab the Windswept Teeth. Ugin's Lab. Imprint Breaker. Cast Talisman of Impulse and pass. And pass. Planes. Hopefully you're not playing White Orchid Phantom Main. You are not. Grabs the Flicker Wisp, so they can flicker the Balemerc next turn. We can make this work in our favor. So I'm gonna go Windswept Heath and then pass. So this way, if they flicker the Overlord on end step, we can cast Return and then set up the sweet board with Null Drifter. Yes. Alright. Let's see the land into the Flicker Wisp. Witch Bane, or Witch Blessed rather. Here comes the Flicker Wisp. Flicker Overlord. And they could theoretically flicker the the Ugin's Lab. Yep, that is correct. We'll go to end step, flicker, trigger, grabs Felia, fetch, hedge maze, trigger, lab, lab on top, and return. Draw. So 2, 4, 6. Unfortunately, we are short 1, but that is okay. What we're going to do is we're going to imprint the Devourer to insulate it from a Thoughtseize. And then evoke. Triggers. Yes. Sprawl on Hedge Maze. 4 red. And pass. This way we can return Devourer to hand and exile a Ketra if needed. Keep in mind, they still do have the Felia. They don't play anything. Tempted to just play the, just pass and then play Null Drifter. Prismatic Ending is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their thought being that by doing this, we can't then play the Devourer. But that is not an issue. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cast Null Drifter. 3, 5, 7. Draw 2. So I'll see Felia ETB. There's Felia. Question of the day, do you have a White Orchid Phantom? I mean, even if you do, Null Drifter is a threat that you can't simply ignore. I suppose a Flicker Wisp would be the most damaging thing here. Because they would have a Flicker Wisp, Ugin's Lab, Flicker. Solitude is fine. Do you Ethem the Solitude? I mean, they exiled what? They exiled Solitude. Okay. Why do that? Okay, I was about to say, so they do have the Ethem. I feel like that would have been better done on my turn, but maybe I'm wrong. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the Devourer next turn. Okay, you Flicker. I guess then to grow the Felia. And you have the Rebound from the Ethem. Cause return? We could just hold that instead. Yeah, let's go Stomping Grounds tapped and hold the return. Ethem rebounds. Goes to attacks. I'll take the 6. See if they play anything on second main. Now you're kind of... I guess I can still do it on end step. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take the 6 down to 13. You'll go up to 15. Play Godless Shrine tapped. Looks like they don't have anything, so I'm just going to... Do we even need to cast the return then? Maybe not. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. I'll cast the return after all. Clears the Solitude. That way you can't Ethem your way out of this. And I will return Devourer to hand. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In retrospect, I think I might want to return the world or cast the World Breaker. So Forest, World Breaker to hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A little bit of a downside because this means that we are susceptible to Thoughtseize. I'm going to get rid of the Bog so they can't flicker that and get rid of my graveyard. Going to get rid of Felia and pass. This way we hold up the Devour in case of a Ketra. And opponent scoops it up. Win for game 1. And move to sideboard. So we want Dismember. We want Consign. We'll cut 2 Karn. As well as a Ghost Quarters. Let me take a look at my sideboard real quick. The sideboard guide against Blink. Didn't really account for the Consigns, but I do like Consign in this matchup. Tempted to grab the Ghost Quarter, but there's some relevance. But maybe not enough. Like, if they flicker a Witch Blessed Meadow, and then we Ghost Quarter it, but like, that's heavily telegraphed. And we cut 1 return, and then run it like this. This way Karn can still grab Torpor Orb, Haywire Might, what have you. But really, what are we trying to grab with Karn? I guess a good question. Crypt, Might, Orb? Local Metal's an option to start closing out the game. But maybe it is right to bring Torpor Orb in. Because we just played Torpor Orb on 2, or Torpor Orb on 1, Evoke Null Drifter on 3. That's pretty strong. Let's try this. And maybe I'll change my tune on this idea. The thing is, Karn can still also brick Relic, so I don't know. Any thoughts there? I will keep this, however. I'll reveal Devourer and pass. Not the biggest fan of Bajuka Bog. I'd love to find a Malevolent Rumble off the top. Though we do want red for this return, so we're likely going to be fetching for a Stomping Grounds. Again, why I would kind of like Thoughtseize. Relic. Relic is okay. Does mean return's a little bit worse here. Could go with Command. I think Command is correct. The other option was Null Drifter. I'll go Misty Rainforest and pass. Basic Plains and... I mean, if you want to play a White Orchid, you can. I'm okay with that. Overload the Balemerc. But pause on end step. Grabs a Solitude. Trigger. Hedge Maze or Stomping Ground? I'm gonna go with Hedge Maze. Trigger. Dismember. I do like Dismember. I will put it on top. Yes. So our hand's very reactive right now, which is okay. Relic target me. No reason to play the Eldrazi Temple right now, so we'll just play a Forest and pass. Hold up the delay to respond. Let's see if they play Ketramos on 3. White Orchid Phantom. Yes. Pretty low impact, all things considered. Yes. Phase change, I'll allow it. And pass. No reason to be too aggressive with this member. Okay, they do have another land. So they could be trying to set for an Ephem. Keep in mind, they do have the Solitude in hand, so they only have 3 cards of note. And draw. Another command. That's looking good. Now we could go Temple into Mycospawn and still hold up the Dismember, but I think it might be right to simply hold up the ability to interact with White Orchid Phantom. Because they could just fetch here and then attempt to Ephem. No Ephem. Tempted to command the White Orchid. I think I will. Because this will still allow me to hold up Dismember as well. And plays around Ephem. Okay. Thoughtseize will resolve. You have a lot of things that you do not want me having right now, so this could be far worse. Command's good, Dismember's good. Return is right now bricked, but not for long. Devour's solid. I think Command might be your pick, as it's the most versatile out of all the options. I'll have to play this with Jukabog eventually, but I think I might target Self, though at that point it doesn't matter. Because there'll still be enough in exile for Ketramos, so I might as well target opponent. Mycospawn, that's a bit surprising. Emperor Bones. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. What do you grab? Soin Mycospawn out of yard? Or your own Overlord? Mycospawn, that's fine. I think they're just trying to ensure that we can't play Emrakul. Keep in mind, they still have a Solitude in hand. Much plus Split Meadow. So Solitude and an Unknown. Overload the Bailmerk. Draw. Worldbreaker. A little bit light, unfortunately. I'm not too worried about Emperor, all things considered, so I think we just go Bajukabog, target you, and then pass. Breaker opens up another line to get rid of the Overlord. So we do need to play around a Aven Interrupter, potentially. Thoughtseize again. Tempted to Command X2 here. I think that might be correct, just for us to get value out of it. Yeah, let's Command X2 and then exile Emperor Bones. If you want to adapt, go ahead. Otherwise, Aven Interrupter would still be okay. Adapt, really? I feel like that's kind of wasted here unless you also have an Ephem. Yeah, that's okay. So you can either take the Worldbreaker or the Devourer, but either one now kills the Overlord. Yeah, you have a Solitude, but you're running dry on resources. The Ketra would be an issue, but now we have Dismember still laying around. So unless you take Dismember, but then you leave me with both Devour and Worldbreaker, which I don't think is something you can really do. So I think you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, friend. The Adapt was really surprising. That truly means they have nothing going on for them. Takes the Devour, that's fine. They'll attack with Soin Mycospawn, I'll take the 3 gladly. Next turn we will exile the Overlord, the Worldbreaker. Relic. I will exile Devourer. Emperor Bones, Overlord. Yep. And my turn. Draw. Consign, though we don't have blue. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are able to hold up 1 for the Dismember. You're 1 mana off now of evoking, or not evoking, but hard casting. No shot. I was about to say, no shot that you are going to evoke a Solitude right now. You have the land for the Solitude. It'd be unfortunate, but not the end of the world. You play Ketra, though, and Ketra will get hit by Dismember. evoked Solitude. Do you have an Ephem? No. What did you evoke? Another Solitude? Really? Okay. Bit weird, but sure. Do you have an Overlord of the Baelmerk in hand? That'd be my initial thought. Okay, this makes sense then. That will resolve. Imagine you grab the Flicker Wisp. Grab Solitude again. Okay. They could have a Felia. Another Emperor Bones. Sure. Yes. I guess you can grab the Flicker Wisp for what it's worth. So the only card in hand right now is Solitude. Yes, so your intention is to Flicker Wisp the Overlord. I mean, you probably just dismember it next turn. You can't adapt this turn. Null Drifter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would like to Null Drifter, but I mean, the Dismember I think is necessary. So I think we just Dismember now. And then we have Null Drifter next turn. Yeah, the Solitude in hand, and that's it. So they're on top decks. We have action next turn. Of course, they'll hit the Ketra now. You know, that's how top decks go. Solitude in hand. Draw. Wooded Foothills. So now we do have Consign available. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, is Breeding Pool in exile? Thankfully not. The Consign might be relevant, so I'm just going to hold the Wooded Foothills. The problem is for them, actually the problem is for me, just the back and forth slog fest is not great as Ketra does have lifelink. Evoke the White Orchid Phantom. In response, fetching a Wooded Foothills. For a Breeding Pool and Shock. ETB trigger. Consign to memory. Only consigning the ETB trigger, not the evoke. And we'll pass. We'll take the 4 down to 12. They'll be up to 16. Thankfully, Annihilator will start chipping away at their resources as well. But we need to deal with this Ketramos ASAP. Another Consign. For red. Well, can't do much other than attacking and triggering Annihilator. And pass. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Currently at 9. What happens if I counter the last impending trigger? I don't think it matters. Flooded Strand. Yikes. So it just would stop the last... It would just stop the removal. It wouldn't stop anything else. I need to draw into something here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yikes. Alright, comes down to our next draw. Down to 4. Another land. End step. Overlord trigger. I am going to cast Kozilek's Return. Just for good measure. Draw. Sowing Mycospawn. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The problem now is that we can't block the Ketra and the Overlord. Maybe I should have countered... I'm not even looking at my yard. Maybe I should have countered the last Overlord trigger, given me one more turn for the Emrakul. Just wasn't thinking that was going to be... Yeah, I didn't think, and that's going to cost me. Because we do this, but then what? It does nothing of value. Yeah, we really just needed one more turn. I should have, like I said, just done that. That's my bad. Yep, that's what I can do. We can block the Ketra, but then we don't block the Overlord. So, yeah, that's the game. You got it. Yeah, if I had countered the last trigger for the Overlord, then I could have staved them off for one more turn. Yeah, I should have thought about what if we draw into, I don't know, a Malevolent Rumble, a Mycospawn, what have you. Or just any blocker that doesn't directly deal with Ketra or Overlord. So, we'll go to sideboard. We'll cut the Gemstone, bring back in the Ghost Quarter, and we will run it back. On the play for game 3, I will keep. I go down to 6. We're looking for a Malevolent Rumble off the top. Opponent keeps 6. Hedge Mage trigger. Talisman's okay. I don't think enough. I'm going to put that in the grave and then pass. And pass. Flooded Strand. Pass, draw. So no Thoughtseize. We're going to play around the possibility of a White Orchid. So we'll just play the Forest and pass. This way we can set up for a Mycospawn next turn. Either that or hold for the Kozilek's command. Both are options. Shadowy Backstreet. And hold up the ability to respond. Courtyard. And so this feels like a Felia then. Draw. Rumble. I'll play Temple, hold Command, and pass. Let's see if I'm right about the Thelia. ETB, and then we are going to exile Thelia. Leaving that on board is, simply put, not an option. And hold up the ability to respond. Next turn, if they don't play a catcher, I'm inclined to swing Mycospawn and kick. If they do catcher, I think I'll Sanctum and then Null Drifter, try and find a Devourer. Vindicate. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. That will resolve, and honestly, that kind of is a slow play on their part, so that is a-okay. We could Rumble, try and find a Soul Land, but I think just going Cavernous Souls for Eldrazi into Mycospawn, not kicked, for a, tempted to go Ugin Lab, but I think just an E-Temp is correct. Temp, and then pass. And pass. You have another Vindicate, because if you had a White Orchid, you would have played that instead. There's the Ketra, so we're going to want to set up for Devourer then. Draw. Speak of the Devil, and it shall appear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sanctum of Ugin. Triggers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say no to the Sanctum. I'm going to combat. And then pass. If we draw into a land, we'll likely just play the Null Drifter. If we don't, then we'll likely just kick for a Sowing Mycospawn. Shadowy Backstreet, Surveil Trigger. Trawler's fine. Exile in their own yard? So that tells me they have a Ketra in hand. Noted. Dismember will help with that, though. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exile the Backstreet. This way, if they have an E-Fem, they'll have to cast it now. They don't. I'll grab another E-Temp. Attack with Devourer. And this way, we're holding up Dismember. Down to 9. Imagine they play Ketra. Godless Shrine, Shock down to 7. That's surprising. Overlord the Belmer. ETBs. There's Solitude, which can make things a bit more complicated. The question is, do they have a white spell in hand, a white card in hand, rather? They do. A bit aggressive of you to do this. Get rid of the Devourer, that's fine. So in that case, we'll move to end step and dismember the Overlord. Draw. Let's start with Rumble. Devourer. And let's see, 2, 4. Yeah, so what we'll do, though if a Ketra ends up on board, that would be trouble. So I think we actually will cast Null Drifter instead. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. This way we can insulate the Devourer. Draw 2. Yes. I'm gonna grab an Emrakul, the Promised End. We'll insulate the Devourer in case you find a Ketra. We'll go to combat. Even if you block, lethal's now on board. Hold up the delay to respond. And with Devour insulated, this should be the win. We got there. Good stuff. Alright, well, we'll be back for round 4. Alright, and we're back for round 4. On the draw for game 1, we will keep. When it goes down to 6. I feel like I remember playing against this opponent recently. I want to say even as recent as last challenge. However, I can't for the life of me remember what they played, and that's concerning. Regardless, I don't think we play any differently. The hand's solid. Oh, it's Necro, isn't it? Yeah. He'll take command? Though Karn is a threat. So I do think this is Necro, if I remember correctly. It's either Necro or Blink. I want to say it might be Necro. I guess there's a world where you take the Sprawl, but I think the command's correct. Yep. Draw. Wooded Foothills. Fetch. Forest. Sprawl. Blue, since we have the red source in hand, and then pass. We have Malevolent Rumble, which is good. Pass. Okay, so this is Blink after all. Is it? Oh no, it might be Blink with, not Blink Necro, but like Orzhov Necro. Yeah, I think that's right. So we will play Temple, and let's make sure we tap correctly. Blue, colorless, and Rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd need another land is the problem. I mean, it's not a bad idea. We'll go Devourer. And then pass. And pass. Dothy? Yes. Progen. Command. Draw. Talisman. I mean, we have the return, so I'm not all too pressed. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4. No. So I think we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Talisman of Curiosity. Bojuka Bog. Target you. And then Cause Command. Yeah. And Unfortunately, since it's state-based, cause return will be exiled to Dothy. Only downside there. Thoughtseize? Yes, that is fine. So they're missing a land drop. Fatal Push. Sack in response. And red, colorless, colorless. And pass. Temple. Sorry to say, friend, but I think that's the game. Because now we will go liquid metal coating. And on upkeep, unless you have a Orcish Bowmaster, liquid metal coating, target bog, pass. Opponent scoops it up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Orzhov Necro. That in mind, how do you want to play this? Return is okay, but doesn't adequately deal with Shieldred or Ketra. So let me bring in Dismember. You could bring in Consign. Consign can counter the Necro trigger, giving us a turn. That's a thought. And then just cut down on a Ghost Quarter. Yeah. That might be enough. Or like this. On the draw for game 2, I will keep this hand. The opponent will keep theirs as well. And pass. Thoughtseize. Yep. I imagine you take the Rumble. You could take the Micas Bomb. I think the Rumble's correct. And we'll go Utopia Sprawl green. The only problem is that they do break the ice. Actually, how does break the ice read? I think it's only that could generate colorless or... Ooh, taking a Mega Spawn. That's a bold move, Cotton. Devourer. Breeding Pool Shock. Utopia Sprawl. For green. And pass. And pass. Bog, tapped, pass, draw. Could go Temple. Susceptible to break the ice then. We're not really making much use of it, so I think Gemstone is correct. Let's go green, green, and colorless. So green. Target. Let's go, let's see, green, blue, we'll say black. Rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think we'll go with a Worldbreaker or Devourer. Both are relevant. I think a second Devourer would be good. And then pass, because we can always bring back the Worldbreaker. We'll hold up the ability to respond. Only way that they stop me from casting Devourer here is that they deal with the spawn. So there's Necro. They'd have to Soul Spike the spawn specifically. How deep you want to go? Opponent's thinking. And they know about the Devourer. Wish it told me how many they chose. I wasn't paying great attention. I think they were at 18, so I think they drew, what, 7? Something like that? Soul Spike targeting me. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and draw. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Necro down. And pass. I would like a land off top if possible, in case they did set up for another Necro. If they set up for Shieldred, that's fine. We have this Dismember for a reason. If they set up for another Necro, then we're going to need a land. Relic. Relic's fine. Do you crack Relic? Go for it. A-okay with that, friend. Dothy? No, March. Not ideal, but okay. Oh no, Thoughtseize. I guess takes the Devourer. We can't cast it right now, but I imagine that's probably a worse option than the Dismember for you right now. The thing is, even if you do end up playing Necro, you're going to be at, what, 7? Not a great position for you to be in, unless you can deal with this Devourer as well. The one on board, that is. So, I mean, I'm in a good spot, Dismember, so it tells me you probably have Shieldred in hand. So, what we'll do then is we're going to insulate the Devourer. And I might as well cast the Utopia Sprawl here. We'll go black. That way we can cast Dismember without paying anything. Attack. So, Ketra isn't a solution, neither is Shieldred. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's Ketra. Ketramos is fine. End step. Return Devourer to hand. Command. I mean, they're going to be at 1. 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't Ephem this either. Attack. You're at 1. Now what? No Thoughtseize, so command's safe. You need 2 blockers. And command will ensure that you only have 1 if you play Orcish Bowmaster. And you double cast Then command again will win me the match, and we got there. Clean to a win against Necrodominance. Alright, well, we'll be back for round 5. Alright, and we're back for round 5 on the play for game 1. We will keep. I will not reveal Devourer. Well, we could reveal Devourer if we find a Malevolent Rumble. I wouldn't complain about that. There's a thought there. Let's take a look. Karn the Great Creator, another Sowing Mycospawn. Yes. I has ideas. So... If I were to go Verdant Catacombs fetch... Green to... The thing is, it'd be a turn 3. We'll go Sowing Mycospawn. Verdant Catacombs, pass, and we'll hold up the ability to respond. Malicious Archive, Meticulous Archive, so it looks like it is control. Spell Snare. Could be Oculus. Yes. Draw. Fetch. Forest. Sprawl. Tempted to go green, but I think we will go... Maybe we do go green. Double green would allow me if we do find ourselves in a position. Let's go blue. Lab, Imprint, Emrakul. And pass. Hold up the blade to respond. So what do we think this is? Unless they play Consign main. So that's clearly a counterspell up. I'd love to see a land. Asking you shall receive. Fetch. Another forest. Utopia Sprawl. First one was on blue, this one will be on red. Sowing Mycospawn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unless you have Consign, we're gonna go for Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. And pass. There's the counterspell. That is okay. We'll pass. And pass. So is this Azorius control? It's starting to look more and more like it. Narset. I'm going to exile Narset to ensure they don't get to play Days Undoing. Yeah, playing a Slur was not a bad thing. Cryptic Command, yep. Draw. Another Sprawl. A force would be bad. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're holding off on the sprawl then. Just out of excess of caution. And exile Narset. No Days Undoing today, please. Passing. Draw. Temple. Sprawl. And we'll say black. Actually, we'll go white just so we have another type. Kick for colorless, colorless. Exile archive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So next turn we can play Emrakul. Yeah, I think we should be in a good position short of a Terminus. Eldrazi Temple. Or we could go Sanctum. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we do have to go Temple. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so Temple. Move to combat. Solitude. Solitude will resolve. Wait, do you have Ephem? Path to Exile. Oh, path to exile your own Solitude so you can get a land. Fascinating. That will resolve. I'm surprised you wouldn't hold that Solitude for Emrakul, though, and that's what confuses me. Colonnade and Teferi. That will resolve. I guess you can kick back Utopia Sprawl. Yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'd be short 1 unless we draw into a land. I'll still return it to hand because we can cast pretty much anything in our deck right now. KGC. Well, first off and foremost, I will go to attack Teferi. Utopia Sprawl. Which one did you take off? Red. White, so we want blue. I will cast KGC. Minus KGC. We'll go Liquid Metal Coating. And then go to Upkeep, Target Colonnade, and pass. Plays a Plains. Target Colonnade. And if you want to make it a creature, you can. Tick up. And we will face phase change. Go to combat. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Emrakul. And Bone scoops it up. Alright, so this is control. Most likely Days Undoing. I'll go to sideboard. Return's not really cutting it. But neither is Dismember, honestly. Yeah, this one's a bit of an awkward matchup. Like, yeah, Dismember can get rid of, I guess, Solitude. Haremite's at least a creature that can attack. We could go for Chalice on one, in case they're on Orange Chant, which I imagine they are. That's a thought. Consign to Memory could be relevant. Maybe do that in Chalice. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, a bit of an awkward matchup. You don't exactly have too much for control in the side. I will keep. I'm going to exile Bajuka Bog. And pass. Forest. Sprawl on the forest. For, not sure it really matters since we have the gemstone. I'll go blue though. Cast Talisman. See if you have Spell Snare. Even if you do, you have a Karn on 2. Pass. Granted, everything resolves, of course. White, blue. Interesting. Might have Consign, question mark? Ghost Quarter. KGC. Do you have Consign? You do have Consign. I'm actually okay seeing that used for Karn. We'll pass. The problem is now that we need some action off the top. Double blue. Could have Counterspell now. Breeding Pool tapped and pass. We have 5. A Soul Land will get us to either Worldbreaker or Devourer. Brain Surge. And definitely in Days Undoing build, along with Terminus. Is this a Teferi? Teferi bounce Utopia Sprawl. Nope, plussing. Interesting. Soul Land off the top. Another KGC. KGC. You have another Consign. You don't have a Consign. Minus KGC. We could play Haywire Might to threaten the Fairy at the very least. A threat is a threat, no matter how small. Might not be a bad idea. Otherwise we can threaten with Liquid Metal Coating. I'll go Liquid Metal and pass. Archive resolves. Brain Surge into Yard and hold up the ability to respond on the off chance it's necessary. The Fairy minus on Sprawl resolves. Alright. Battle the Planeswalkers, eh? Get lost. Rude. Draw. Sprawl. For blue. Sprawl. For red. Liquid metal coating. And pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Need a land for Devour or a World Breaker. Tick up. Narset. Narset minus. And finds a counterspell. That is fine. Talisman. Cast Talisman. Now we need to hope they don't have a Days Undoing, otherwise we are in a bit of trouble. Meticulous Archive. Narset. Please don't find the Days Undoing. Teferi. Plus. They can actually still cast Days Undoing on my upkeep after I draw, which is a bit scary. Yikes. Draw. Temple. Tempted to go liquid metal coating targeting Big Tef. This way we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And target Tef. Do you have a consign? You do not. This way we can hold back the Devourer and or return World Breaker. Map token, target World Breaker. Path Exile's fine, but unfortunate. Grab the Forest. And since the Explore creature isn't there, that will end. Just want to get rid of their card advantage if possible. Land, Tef minus on something. Map token makes sense. Days Undoing. Ashiok. Yes. So I can't search now. Draw. What else did you exile? I would have liked the Micah spawn in the Rumble, not gonna lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can counter the body. I'll get rid of the Narset. Do not want to deal with the Days Undoing. I doubt the body resolves. Probably gets it by a counterspell. Or another path. Another path. I mean, honestly, I don't mind this because it means less cards in my deck. Field Ruin. I mean, that is a sinkhole now, to be fair. Tef plus. Another Narset. Minus. Consign. Draw. My spawn's a bit awkward, but we'll get them to use that consign. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get rid of your Mystigate for what it's worth, or rather attempt to. Really? I can't search thanks to Ashiok. It's ETBs? Weird. Solitude. Solitude will resolve. Let's play the lab for now. No reason for me not to. Tef tick up. Narset minus. So we now have Counterspell, Consign, and Force, and one unknown. Oh, there's my other breaker, of course. Draw. Well, there's my Consign. Awkward. Brain Surge resolves. And then what? Days Undoing? Field of Ruin. Yes. I guess that's a sinkhole. And pass. Tef tick up. Ashiok. It's 2 Emrakuls. I'll take the 3. Hedge Maze trigger. Into grave. Maybe we should have kept it on top because Ashiok will likely just mill over the top anyways. They might, maybe not. Snapcast. What are you targeting? Brain Surge? You know what? Screw you. No more brain surging. Oh, I can't because of frickin' Tef. Never mind. Brain Surge. The only reason at this point I hold up the Ghost Core is in case of a man land. Case in point. I'm just gonna get rid of you now. And then pass. Draw. Devourer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Attempt to exile the Teferi. Let's eat that consign to map. What is going on? Hold up the ability to respond? Or are you going to try and cast... Watch them try and cast a Solitude. Please. Oh, now they'll consign... or counter it. Actually, I can cast Replicate. 1, 2, 3 times, or rather 2. Yeah, 1, 2 times. I guess you can consign the Replicate trigger, same targets, same targets. And pass. Snapcast for Path to Exile. Yeah, Path is unironically really good, given the fact that most decks only run like, I don't know, 3 basics. Down to 2. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Short of resolving a K-return that we don't have in the deck, we lose. Draw. And concede. Loss for game 2. On to game 3. Maybe K-return is not a bad idea after all. We didn't see Orange Chant at all. Yeah, K-return just does deal with all of their creatures. We're on the back of K-return this time. The consigns were okay. Like, mainly it's Solitude, the Solitude trigger, and then the Snapcast trigger, that's it. On the play for game 3. I'll keep. It's a weird hand, but I do like it. They're down to 6. We can use K command as a permission spell. Down to 5. That's a great place for us to be against the control deck. The fewer cards they have in hand, the better off we are. Reveal Devourer. Trigger. Emrakul the Promised End. I'm going to grab a Sowing Mycospawn. Temple. Pass. And pass. Temple. Pass. And pass. Temple and hold up the ability to respond. We'll still hold up the ability to respond then. Yeah, should have probably just grabbed a land off top in retrospect. Brain Surge. Let's see if you have a force. Bottom, 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 top and draw, and pass. So no matter what, we're going to be able to cast Null Drifter after Null Drifter, drawn into more cards. And pass. Okay. Temple. All. Null Drifter number 1. Counterspell. Attempt to resolve KGC. Do you have a force? minus KGC. I will grab a liquid metal coating and pass. I'll pitch the Utopia Sprawl. And pass. Teferi, big Teferi. Breeding Pool, shock. Kick, sowing Mycospawn. Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. No More Lies. I unfortunately cannot pay for No More Lies. Do you have a force? You do not. Meticulous Archive and tick up. And pass. And pass. Tuck Karn, that's fine. Cast Devourer. Target Teferi. Resolves. Cat and pass. This hand, I think, is just unbeatable at this point. Let's first attack with Devourer, see if they Solitude. World Breaker, get rid of Archive. And Solitude. Exiling World Breaker. I'll take the 3. There's KGC. I'm gonna cast, actually before I do, I'll go to combat. Gonna cast Null Drifter. Trigger. Sanctum of Ugin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see here. I will attempt to resolve KGC. Consign. Yes. Funny, they're actually worried about me consigning their consign. Terminus. Yes. Doesn't matter since we're just going to shuffle up anyways. The pause on end step. And fetch. Hedge Maze. To grave. And draw. 2, 4, 5, 6. And opponent scoops it up. Yeah, the hand we had was kind of nuts. I could have played a bit more conservatively by making sure that we had 7 mana on 4, but I'm kind of glad we went with the Sowing Mycospawn. Alright. Well, we'll be back for round 6. Alright, and we're back for round 6 on the draw for game 1. 7 mana value spell would make all the difference, but if we whiff on that and hit anything else for SOL, so I think I do have to mulligan this. This is better. I'll keep and I'll drop the Emrakul and pass. Looks like it is Blink. They'll Thoughtseize. I'd imagine taking the K-Return or Null Drifter. K-Return would insulate their creatures. Yeah. But Instinct Null Drifter will be able to still do something about that, right? It's playing the Ugin Lab right, though. If they have a White Orchid Phantom, we would be a bit remiss. So I think we go Misty Rainforest and pass. If they go a second Thoughtseize, then whatever. This also insulates us from a Relic of Progenitus. Bolt. Or Shock, rather. Okay, well, Emperor Moans does take takes the return. No doubt about that. A little bit unfortunate. Misty Rain. Hedge Maze. Trigger. Emrakul. I cannot put that into yard with Emperor Bones on the field. That's unfortunate. Honestly, even putting the Null Drifter into yard is a bit yee. Because of the Annihilator trigger. Huh. Interesting. I will insulate. And the Emrakul's 13 damage, and the Null Drifter's Annihilator 1. Neither one of these is good for me. I'll pass. I can survive an Annihilator 1 trigger. I can't survive this Emrakul. At least not after this turn. I'll take my forest. Yeah, things are looking a bit grim here in game 1. Could really use a rumble or a command. Ideally a command. If they had a Ketra, I feel like they would have played it before Emperor, so it's not a Ketra, but it could be a Flicker Wisp. Bog, sure, just apply pressure to board. Yes. Oof. Yeah, like I said, the problem is that the Null Drifter had to be careful of this Emperor Bones. Another Marsh Flats. Back Street. Imagine looking for something for Emperor Bones to hit and then adapt. Alright, give me something good off the top. This tells me they might have Ketra. 5 down to 12. Draw. K return is good, but we grab the Hedge Maze. Frick my life. Ghost Quarter and pass. Like I said, I really think that this should be a commercial district. I'm going to swap it to a commercial district next time. Yes. Down to 7. Rumble. I mean, they have to have a Solitude in hand, right? That'd be my thought, at least. I don't think I have any straight-up destroy spells I need to worry about. So I think I will cast a Null Drifter. I guess they could even interrupt, and that would be lethal, so... Do you have a Solitude? Solitude would grow me to 11. That'd be 6, 10. I'd be at 1. Yes. If they adapt, that is. There's the Solitude. Up to 11, and then down to a theoretical 1. Thankfully, nothing's under Emperor Bones. What's my out here? Adapt. Okay. So yes, down to 1. Shock Temple Gardens. So it's Abzan. Witch Enchanter, sure. Down to 1. Draw. Unfortunately, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this will work. We have a turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab a forest. Utopia Sprawl. On red. Oh, hold on. I need to... No, it's already adapted. So that shouldn't be an issue. So yes, this should be fine to do now. Okay, so we have a blocker. Emperor Bones. Ah, shoot. Yeah, I should have waited till upkeep, or rather the beginning of combat. That's on me. Yeah, that was a mistake. I was thinking to myself, okay. wrong Emperor Bones. Okay, well, good news is they also misplayed. Block. Draw. Okay. I have an idea. So first off and foremost, Utopia Sprawl. It's on red currently. I'm gonna go blue. I'm going to Malevolent Rumble. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Can I take one? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I can take one. I can take the Karn. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, I can take the Karn. I can return Emrakul to hand. I can play Lab, Imprint Breaker, cast Emrakul. Our turn, comrade. Just barely got there. Because now I'll be able to... Okay, they adapt. That was smart. Because now I can't grab Solitude. A bit unfortunate. Oh, and Ophelia? Draw. Arid Mesa. The problem now is... Yeah. So I messed up on two fronts here. A, I should have cast the Kozilek's Return at the beginning of combat after Emperor Bones triggered. A. B. I should have sacrificed Ghost Quarters, hitting whatever, and that would have given me another blocker in the way of the spawn. So that way I could have attacked with Felia, flickered nothing, and then Felia blocked by Emrakul, that'd give me 2 blockers. But now without that, I can't do anything. Yeah, because Felia flickers, not blinks, and it wouldn't matter. Yeah, so there's no way for me to win. Damn. So yeah, we messed up on 2 fronts. Otherwise, we would have been okay. Damn. Yeah, small little misplays go a long way. I got aggressive with the return, thinking, well, I should play around blink effects, but blink effects don't matter in the way of a sweeper, so that wouldn't have been an issue. I guess maybe the only thing that I would have been playing around at that point would be an Aven Interrupter, but that'd be pretty narrow. So we messed up. And then on a second front, we messed up by not sacrificing the ghost quarters. And I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, we could sacrifice the ghost quarters, yada yada yada. But I decided, like, oh well, we don't need to. We can just attack in, right? Obviously, that was a mistake to make. We should have played a bit more efficiently. Let's run it back like this. That's so unfortunate. But it shows that I still have room to grow. Like I've said many a times, I'm by no means the best player, but I'm striving to be better. The fact that I can see the lines, but then I don't rationalize why they're worth doing until after should demonstrate that I have the intention, just not the intuition to go, well, no, that's the correct line, regardless if I see a reason for it or not, right? Like, it's the best line. And then also, again, being a little bit impatient with my plays. I've gotten much better at treating this deck like a control deck, which it is. But then there are other times like that where I get a bit impatient and go, okay, well, let's just cast the return. Why wouldn't we do so right now, right? Whereas if I had waited, they cast the Emperor Bones, then we clear, we would have been in a fantastic position. I'll be on the play for game 2. I will keep. Opponent goes down to 6. And I need this win to make top 8, otherwise we are not getting there based on tiebreakers. Trigger. We could grab an Ugin's Lab. So we go Devour. Actually, probably want to bring this into play tapped. If we do that, we might want to go World Breaker in case of an early Thoughtseize. And we'll go World Breaker. Stomping Grounds, tapped, and pass. So this way, if they Thoughtseize, we'll have another 7-mana value spell. They'll probably take Devourer. They could take Soin Megaspawn as well. But they might see the Devourer and go, ooh, piece of candy. Because that delays me on the Mycospawn. Takes the Mycospawn regardless. Tells me that they might have a White Orchid Phantom, so I'm going to play the Temple. Malevolent Rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will grab a Null Drifter. And pass. At least this way, if they White Orchid Phantom me, we're not losing 2 cards, we're only losing 1. So that tells me they have a Felia. Breeding Pool. I will cast Malevolent Rumble number 2. Grab an Eldrazi Temple. And play the Eldrazi Temple. Actually, maybe it would have been right to go Devour on that one. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 9. They would have to interact with my board pretty significantly. It's probably like Ophelia into a White Orchid Phantom. 1, 2, 3. Even then, we'd still be able to cast a 7 mana value spell and sweep the board. So they need to be mindful of that return. Have we exiled any forests? Hopefully not. Thankfully not. Over the Baelmerk, that's fine. There's the White Orchid Phantom. They'll pick that up. And then they'll probably flicker the Overlord. Even if they don't, we'll still have the ability to exile it. No blocks. Bog tapped. We'll get rid of double white. Overlord ETBs. There's a Solitude. I imagine they grab Solitude. Yep. Okay. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I can do then is insulate the Devourer. Yes, let's do that. Insulate Devourer of Destiny. And then cast Worldbreaker. And we'll get rid of the Verge. Yes. So this way, they need another white source in order to play the White Orchid Phantom. Another Overlord of the Baelmerk. Could grab the Flicker Wisp. They do grab the Flicker Wisp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go to end step. And return Devourer to hand. Play the Breeding Pool. Shock. And exile the Overlord of the Baelmerk. Let's see if they will Solitude the Worldbreaker or not. They will. And then pass. They do have White Orchid Phantom still in hand unless they exiled it. No, they exiled March. So they have Flicker Wisp and White Orchid and 2 unknowns. Another Baelmerk. Okay. We'll grab Witch Enchanter for a land. Shock. And then we'll go Emperor Bones. Was not expecting that one. Grabs Null Drifter. Well, I want to clear board here. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I guess we can just go... I'm trying to think how we can just be the most mana efficient here. So Utopia Sprawl on Breeding Pool, not my favorite thing to do. For red. Play Impulse. Return. This way, if we do cast the Null Drifter, we end up sweeping their board. And pass. Down to 9. I mean, the breeding pool is looking mighty good for White Orchid, but the Flicker Wisp, the Overlord, no. Interesting. Okay, instead going for that, so that way they can clear my graveyard. Fair. Draw. Well, sorry to say, was all for naught. And go to combat. Lethal's now on board, and I have a Null Drifter to sweep again. And opponent concedes. Alright. One more game. Let's do this. So bring back in the Gemstone and cut the Ghost Quarter. On the draw for game 2, I will keep and pass. Thoughtseize on Null Drifter or Worldbreaker. I guess they could take the Rumble. They take the Rumble and draw. Devourer, you are a card late, friend. I'll pass. Plains. And Overlord. Put a pause on end step. Grabs a Ketramos. This Devour just got a lot better. Trigger. Hedge Maze. K command on top. And I will play... We could play Null Drifter here. It's tempting. Try and find another Eldrazi temple. Or Soul Land at the very least. Yeah, let's go for it. Evoke. I do like the Rumble. And we'll pass. And pass. Let's see if you play the Ketramos. Shock the Godless Shrine. 4 unknowns in hand. There's Ketramos. Soul Land? Perfect. I'm going to insulate the Worldbreaker. And we are going to cast Command to ramp and then to exile. Then hold up the ability to respond. There's another Ketramos, that is fine. Shadowy Backstreet. Overlord of the Bailmerk. Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl on red. Could Malevolent Rumble. Might not be a bad idea. So if we go Malevolent Rumble. I'm gonna go for Null Drifter. And we can continue digging. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exile Ketramos. Hold up the blade to respond. Bog. Bolt. Overlord of the Balemerk. Finds a white Orchid Phantom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have the World Breaker. Return World Breaker to hand. Even with the white Orchid Phantom in hand, I'm not sure they can do too much. Verdant Cat. Fetch. I will shock a Breeding Pool. And then cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exile Overlord of the Balemerk. Paying cost for a Solitude. Pitching the white Orchid Phantom. No. Maybe? No. Okay. Pass. Surgical for the command. That's fine, but you're going to see something you don't like in my hand, and that is the ability to cast both Null Drifter and Return. Opponent scoops it up. Alright, and that there does mean that we did fumble here and there. We are now officially locked in for the top 8. I'll be back with you guys in just a few short moments for the top 8. Alright, and we're back for the quarterfinals of today's Magic the Gathering Online Challenge. And I'm pretty sure this is my opponent from round 1. So we know what we're up against. It's Living End, friends. I will keep, and I need to find a lab off the top, ideally. So that way we can play Karn 2 into Chalice on 0. So Foothills, Fetch, Forest, Sprawl on blue. Opponent's thinking. If they counter this, we're gonna be in trouble, I'll put it that way. I mean, they should, but they don't know that. Because then we were going to need to hit a soul end off top. Ideally a lab. Okay. We'll go for blue. And pass. And pass. Hedge Maze. Yep. Keeps it on top. Oh boy. think it makes sense just to try and go for KGC, and we can guarantee that by going to Hedge Maze. There's a lab, just a bit short. Pass. And pass. There's the Ent. Now, do we think that they play Force? I'm kind of curious to look at stock Living Endless since I haven't looked in a hot minute. Let's take a peek, shall we? Before I send this. Living End. In Modern. Let's see. They do run Force. So I do think instead we might want to go with Null Drifter. I wonder if we should have actually went Null Drifter last turn, funny enough. I will Ugin Lab. Imprint Breaker. Null Drifter. Actually, we should just do this. Another KGC. Evoke. Yeah, maybe in retrospect I should have just gone Null Drifter into Null Drifter. Because that way if they Living End, we have 2 Null Drifters on board. Curative Mysteries. Street Rate. They're looking for a land, it looks like. They found it. Endurance. Rough. So they're going to return my yard. And then Shardless Agent. Yes. That was the worst case scenario right there. And draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can create blockers. Fetch. For a forest. Sowing Mycospawn cast. For a temple. Now we can hold up Command X2 if needed. Do they have a subtlety? That's what it seems like. If they do, then we wouldn't have been able to play around that with Karn even. Rough. They're thinking about it. And if they do, I'll put it on bottom. That's 2, 6, 9, 14, 17 damage. Okay. Combat and attack. Cast K command X equals 2. See what we find on top. They did have the force. Alright, well, we played around that. 4, 7, 10, 15 down to 3. I'll be able to block. Rough. Yeah, I really need a Devourer, it looks like. Would Devour even do it? You'd have to exile that. No, even Devourer wouldn't do it. Is there a world where I need to... Only one type in yard? Could make 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'd still be short, though. Yeah, moments like this is where I would love to have a freaking bridge inside. Draw. Sprawl won't cut it. If I go KGC for Might, I can theoretically boost myself up to 5. We block, but take 7. Anything else I have on the sideboard? Nothing of consequence. Yeah, I think they got it. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can try Null Drifter. Yeah, well, Null Drifter, see if I can find anything. Ideally, we need a K command now. No, that's not a K command. Yep, you got it. I was right to play around the force, but unfortunately it didn't matter. So loss, living end. Bring in the jailer. Cut the returns. Bring in the... Okay, well, okay, so we're back here again with freaking indomitable creativity. Not creativity, Inevitable betrayal. Shoot. Like I said, the problem is, even if they take the Emrakul, or even if they take out Emrakul, we're still in a bit of trouble. And take the Null Drifter instead. Bring in Chalice. Bring in Consign. Maybe bring in the last Jailer as well? Or bring in a Stonebrain. Actually, if we do it like this, I wonder if bringing in Dismember is correct instead. Because that way, if they do grab Null Drifter, we can exile or destroy it. That might be enough. Okay, let's run it like this. Of course, I do this, and now they're going to freaking keep on living in, and that's kind of the tough part about this matchup, is it's kind of a coin flip whether or not they do bring in a living end or not. I would love this hand if we had one more land. Mulligan. I will keep pitch the Consign that we currently can't do anything with, maybe? No. Pitch the Mycospawn. I think pitch the Sanctum. Alright, and pass. Shock. Weird. Rumble. Resolves. Temple. Temple or Null Drifter? Another issue. That's our only breeding pool. And that's our only breeding pool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next turn. That's our only breeding pool we can't consign then. And we would like to be able to consign, wouldn't we? It might be necessary to grab the breeding pool rather than the temple. Damn. And pass. Generous Ent. I guess that's why they had to shock that in. Breeding pool shock. Breeding pool shock. Hold up command, hold up consign. Next turn we can play Mycospawn. Street Wraith. Ent. Swear to God, it seems like they're still on living end. Give that flying. It's a flying spawn. Let's see. Did we get jebaited? Looks like no. KGC. Bit afraid of a hard cast force, so we're instead going to go Mycospawn and try and go Bajukabog. Still holding up the consign. Waker Waves. Subtlety into yard. Lush Portico resolves. Like a 7-mana value spell off the top. Trigger. Cast. Nice enchantment you got there, friend. Another KGC. Resolve KGC. Do you have a subtlety? A force. Even worse. Play Ugin Lab. And go to combat. Well, I fear that they might have another Cascade spell. Archive. And passing. Go to combat. Attempt to resolve KGC number 2. KGC number 2 resolves minus. Chalice on 0 or Jailer? I think Chalice on 0 covers my bases a bit better. Oh, but it does get hit by Force. But I feel like if they had Force, they would hit Karn. So 0. play lab, just in case, and pass. Plays a forest, and then a Generosant. Yes. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Need one more for command. Draw. View sideboard. Yeah, I think we grab Jailer. So let's first and foremost we have double white, double green. I'll get rid of white, blue. Grab Temple. Minus KGC. Grab a second lock piece in the way of Jailer. And then pass. Gonna make you fight the fair fight, friend. Whether you like it or not. Attack KGC, Exalted. I'll block with a Sowing Myco Spawn. Plus KGC on the food token. No attacks. Subtlety. ETB. Target creature, spell, or planeswalker. Blockers. And let's do this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. Subtlety down. Hedge Maze. Unfortunately, I can only do x equals 5. So we'll block with Spawn, then attack with the Myco Spawn. You still don't know if they're on Inevitable Betrayal or not. Honestly speaking, though, the best thing is to not find out. The consign was good, though. I'm glad we brought that in. Opponent's thinking hard here on the Surveil trigger. And the question is, why? Alright, and we pass. Paying cost for Curator of Mysteries. Yes. Draw. Temple. We could simply minus. KGC being on the board alone doesn't really do too much here, now does it? I'm going to scry draw this time. Let's see, 1. And this is 5, we need 1 more. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 6. Do you have a force? You do not. Bottom. Bottom. Let's go top. 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 And top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trigger, target. And down. And the combat. Karn plus. And pass. Lethal's now on board. I can't do anything here, so it comes down to what they want to do. This looks like a win. You have 2 lock pieces on board. So I don't think there's a way out. Curator. Draw. Little did you know, friend. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Devourer. Alright, let's go to sideboard for game 3. Ah, boy. Yeah, I'll just run it back as is. There's a thought to bringing in the 3rd Soulish Jailer. I think we just run it back. Yeah, 2 Jailers, 2 Consigns. 4 pieces that will interact with the cascade triggers. You know what? Screw it. No idea if this will actually get submitted. I guess we'll find out. Alright. I will keep and pass. Draw. Forest. Utopia Sprawl. For... We cut returns, right? Yes. for blue. Pass. Followed Fountain Shock. And cycle. And pass. Rainbow Shock and pass. No, Street Wraith. Why go deeper? Foundation Breaker hit Utopia Sprawl. That is a bit rude, not gonna lie. I'll play the Temple on the off chance we are still up against Living In and not Betrayal. Because that way we can command X equals 1. Misty Rainforest. Temple Garden Shock down to 10. There's Shardless Agent, Cascade. 4. Living End. In response. Scry, draw, and exile. Ent. Done. Devourer would be good. We'll put that on top. And pass. Lab. If we go lab, so lab, imprint, talisman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we can do that. So lab, imprint, devourer, play talisman of curiosity. And cast Sowing Mycospawn. Do you have a subtlety? I'll grab a temple and pass. And pass. Attacking. No blocks. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Return Devourer to hand. And cast Devourer of Destiny. Attempt to exile the Street Wraith. Curative Mysteries. Yep. Street Wraith down. And I'll hold. Another Curator. So they might be trying to set up for another Living End. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Frick. Well, that could prove problematic. Hedge Maze. To combat. This feels like 8.5. No. Nope, not doing it. Pass. I wonder if it would have been right to play the Karn instead. Draw. Frick. 4, 8, 13 exactly. Attempt to resolve KGC. If they had the force, didn't matter. They had a subtlety, so it did not matter in the slightest. Yeah. And that is lethal damage. Yep. Unfortunate. Yeah, the only thing that would have given us a turn is if we had blocked the Soin Mycospawn, or blocked the, whatchamacallit, Street Wraith of the Soin Mycospawn. That would have given us a turn. But, yeah, that is 4, 8, 13. Exactly. I will concede. No point in belaboring the situation. Well, definitely a bit unfortunate. Somehow we ended up going... Our only 2 losses were to the same opponent. Our round 1 and our round 7 were both to living end, which... Definitely a bit of an oddball. Definitely not expected, especially with a lot of graveyard hate. I would have not expected Living End to make it this far, but they got here. I think they also only lost 1 game out of their 6 Swiss rounds. But at the end of it all, we ended up, what? 5-2? Yes, 5-2. So I'm pretty happy with those results. The deck performed well. We made a few mistakes here and there, but thankfully we're able to recover and or make up for it in the following games. So overall, good stuff. I think the one thing I do want to change, and I think I said it yesterday, I didn't make the change today, and I think I was going to say it again. I think I want to change the hedge maze over to a commercial district. There are just so many times that I want that to be a red source rather than a blue source. So I think I will make that switch over. But other than that, I think the deck is solid. We made some slight changes. We added a second World Breaker, back up to 61 cards. We cut a Consigned for a Torpor Orb, as it does play well into both Blink, as well as gives us the ability to evoke Null Drifter in some cheeky scenarios. So I think the deck is performing well. I'm excited for next week, as I'll start preparing for my testing of Amulet Titan. Now, before you all panic, I am going to be playing both Eldrazi and Amulet Titan. So on weekdays, Mondays through Thursdays specifically, you'll get 2 leagues per video, one with Eldrazi Ramp and one with Amulet Titan. So I'm going to be doing some testing of both. I'm familiar with both decks. I'm excited to play both. I did have a second thought later on, like maybe I should test Through the Breach or another Eldrazi deck instead of Amulet Titan, but I think Amulet Titan will be a lot of fun. It's another deck that I already have built and might bring to the RCQ season. We'll see. A lot will change with the upcoming BNR on March 31st, at least I hope so. Only time will tell. But regardless, hopefully you guys are excited to see both Amulet Titan and Eldrazi Ramp in my videos going forward. It will mean that the length of the videos will extend, at least on, like I said, Monday through Thursday. Probably from like an hour, 30-minute average, probably up to 3 hours average. But the good news is you can skip around and watch what games you are interested in. That being said, as always, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or just some general feedback. It is always appreciated. As for as much as I hope that you all learn from me in both my successes and my failures, I hope to learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have made it to this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider subscribing. We're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. With that being said, folks, I will see you next time. Bye-bye!